Hey, everybody. This is Reagan Adams with All Things Reagan. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So, I know y'all saw the title, and it is what it is. I was just telling Corey, I believe some of the ladies are going to be upset with me this week because I am really pro man this week. But somebody needs to talk about it, and I want to talk about it. A lot of women say that they want to hear what the men have to say, but we're going to listen and do it without interrupting and hopefully take some things in and start learning some things. So, the reason I'm going to let Corey introduce himself because I don't want to jack up anything that he has going on because he does have businesses and he's moving and shaking in the community. So I definitely don't want to leave anything off of the table of what he's doing. But the reason I chose him is he made a comment in the Dating is Dead group, and we'll talk about that in a second. But God was like, hey, I need you to talk to him. And I kept putting it off. And then God was like, go talk to him. So I finally called him and I told him what I needed. And he said that he would definitely help me and come on and speak tonight. So I'm very appreciative of that. So, anyway, without further ado, Corey, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, thank you, Regan, for having me on. My name is Corey Jenkins. Um, I live in Nashville. I've been a business owner for a number of years and also involved with some large corporations doing sales and marketing, things like that. Um, I have three grown children, and I was married and divorced. So I know the good, the bad, and the ugly. And most of all, for me, is I've tried to do what God tells me to do, listen to him instruct me on how to live life better. I made every mistake you could possibly make, and I learned from them. So,
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. So I didn't know you were married. You didn't tell me that. So how
I
long were you married?
got to leave some mystery out there, right?
I know it. I know it. I'll be wanting to know everything. So how long were you married?
I was married for 14 years.
The same as me. We're twinsies. Okay. All right. So if you don't mind, well, I don't know how we can kind of talk about this because now this kind of changes the element of the conversation for me. So I guess within your marriage, and I don't know if you're comfortable to speak about this, and if not, that's fine. We'll go on to something else. Um, but I guess maybe we're talking about mistreatment of men within the relationship. Is that something that you have experienced or did experience within your relationship in your marriage?
Yeah, we might need two or three parts for this if you're trying to get into all of that. But yes, I would dare venture to say that nearly every married man I've ever known has experienced some form of abuse in his relationship, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or even sexual. Um, it's something that you don't think is widespread because men will not talk about it. They won't under any circumstance, but it's happening a lot and it happens
So,
frequently.
so when then you say abuse, and abuse is a very strong word. So we never, like you said, we never hear men talk about being abused within the marriage. So we already know kind of a little bit about sexual abuse, and we'll actually hit on that first because that's one of the reasons well, the reason I contacted you. So somebody put in the group a meme or a video about men needing to have sex a certain amount of time. And if they didn't, then they would get sick. And some of the women in the group were like, well, I guess he just gonna have cancer, or well, just kind of laughed it off. And then you had posted that men have cycles. And so if you would please explain a little bit about those cycles that men have.
So I'm not a physician or a medical expert, so this is not medical advice per se. I can only tell you what I've experienced and what my doctor has told me and what my research has told me. Okay? So, like women, men have cycles. It's not the same kind of cycle, but it is our everything in our bodies. Everything part of our body works in a cycle where it has a repetitive process that goes on. Whether it's digestion, whether it's the endocrine system, the circulatory, everything has a cycle. And the sexual organs for men have cycles too, in which a certain amount of semen, including sperm, must be ejaculated on a regular basis every so often. Is that every month? Is that every week? Is that every 2 days? It's different for each man. Just like a female cycle is different for every woman. Some women are monthly, some women are every 3 weeks, some are every 2 months. I've met women that say they only have a cycle every 4 to 6 months, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
So the same thing. I tell people all the time, when I'm teaching at church, is that the number one reason why God said don't have sex till you get married is because once you start that process of having sex, where the cycles start coming, they were never meant to stop ever until you die. So to have sex on a regular basis and then stop puts you in a situation where the body's not able to do what it normally is accustomed to doing. And you can try, just like you can try veggie meat, and you can try, alternatives to whatever it is you want to do. Doing alternative things is helpful, but it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't give you the full effect that what God created to happen doesn't happen. So we can talk about toys, we can talk about regular masturbation, we can talk about all kinds of things, but you were meant to have sex. And it's more than just physical release. There's a whole lot of emotional and other parts of your body that are part of that process of releasing. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
because that was one of the comments that the women had made. They were like, we don't have to have sex that much. He can just jack off. And I know we had a discussion about that. You was like, it's just not the same. Like it is not the same.
no, it's not the same. I mean, I don't know what I can describe, how I can explain it. That's like me. That might be like me telling you, well, you don't have to eat. You just eat vitamins for the rest of your life. You'll get the nutrients,
Yeah.
but there's something about digestion that the body needs to do that process. Even if it's a small amount, even if it's sporadically, it needs it. Um, and so, no, no. If you got married and you got a relationship to not have sex, then we need to talk about what your definition of a healthy relationship is.
Yeah, I think too. Well, there's several variables to this, but we won't talk about that. I'm going to try to stay on task. So, going back to the abuse, um, emotional abuse, like okay, let's talk about like the emotional abuse that you were talking about. What about that? Like, how can we abuse you guys? Like,
Any person can. So there's different. Of course, there's various levels of abuse, but anybody can abuse another person. It's all about the relationship that you built, and you changing or modifying or manipulating that relationship to prove a point, to affect change or to affect that person. So abuse can be emotional abuse can easily be that they just won't talk to you. I remember I was dating a young lady, and we had moved in together because we were going to get married. And she got mad about something, and I swear to God, Regan, for 3 days she did not speak to me. We walking around the house, we going to work, come back home, not a word.
that's tense. That leaves a tight environment to be in.
Yes, and it's abusive because imagine the emotional and mental anguish that's happening on both sides, and only one side is inflicting it. They're doing it on purpose. It's not an accident. It's not I got laryngitis. I can't talk. I'm intentionally not talking to you for the purpose of letting you know I'm mad at you.
Wow. And we don't think of that as abuse. And I'm going to tell you, before I started learning to communicate better, I would do that. Like, I would be mad. So, you know what? I'm just not going to talk to you. I was really, really good at that. I
Now,
still am to a certain extent.
and we all have our ways that we deal with anger, but most of the ways we deal with it is not healthy for you or for the other person. So yeah, I'm not saying that if you get angry, you should yell at them, scream and fuss. That's not healthy either. But not speaking is not healthy. We have to decide that if we're going to be in a relationship, we have to decide we're going to try to do this thing healthy, right way that's beneficial for both parties. Now, you may have to go off for an hour to cool down. Hey, that's okay. But after about 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 hours, okay, we beyond, or either you really need to go get some anger management help because if you
Yeah.
feel that angry that long, come on. Okay.
So, as far as the abuse, so I had and another thing that I didn't tell you guys is that I have been having dreams the past, probably off and on for the past year, but more frequently the past couple of weeks, how God has been showing me the inside of people's marriages, and that He has been more highlighting the men and the Black men specifically. And so that I guess that's really just been on my heart to talk about. And I know you said that men, when they are in these relationships and they are unhappy, they don't talk about it. So, how, like, why don't you just, and I know somebody else said, why don't you just leave? Like, why don't you just pick up and leave? What are some of the reasons you stay in these abused relationships or these unhealthy relationships with somebody that you know, look, it's just not going to work?
Or it's not working. Maybe you haven't decided it's not going to work totally yet. You're just saying, hey, it's not working right now. So first of all, it's cultural and it's background upbringing. You're a man. Um, suck up your feelings. You're supposed to deal with it. Do what a man's supposed to do. And I'm not talking about all men. I'm talking about men that are trying to live right, do the right thing. So you married. Man, you can't get out of this. You vow God, not that woman. You vow God. So you're gonna tell God that you can't do it just because it got a little hard, you know. And then of course, you got religion. Christ died for you, and so this woman treating you bad. Yeah, she's treating you bad, but that's nothing compared to what God did for you. You got men that are like, well, I mean, it's convenient to have her here. I'm just gonna go out and find somebody else to satisfy my needs, and then I still got her at home. Or, man, I can't afford to leave out now. She might try to put child support on me. She might try to divorce me. I have to go through the legal system, and Or some men know that they're with a woman that is like totally off. This chick gonna try to kill me. It's real. It's seriously real.
That's crazy. And I was going to say, well, why get married? But I have been in a situation where I married my husband, and it's like, I knew I had no business marrying him, but I did it anyway. So I got it. Like, I can't say, but
Yeah,
yeah,
decisions out of how we feel, not what's the right best thing to do. I did the
right,
same thing. I married somebody I was in love with. Um, I found out later on, some background in the family and some issues that had gone through, counseling that had happened and it didn't happen, and like, ooh, if I had known that, we might have delayed this for a little while. Get
right.
therapy, first. It happened, and now you're stuck to some degree. What do you do?
Yeah. So therapy. So how important do you think therapy is in a relationship? And I won't even say once you get together, but I mean like while you're dating and it's like, okay, it looks like we will be getting married or it's getting serious. Do you seek therapy then, or do you advise therapy then, or do you wait till you get married? Like, how does that work for you?
Well, I'm gonna say that something that most black people don't believe, but I think everybody needs therapy. Whether you're in a relationship, out of a relationship, whether you're doing good or doing bad, it doesn't matter. Um, we all need a place to bounce our ideas off of. I think social media is so prevalent and looks so crazy sometimes is because people are looking for that outlet of where they can bounce their ideas off of and get feedback, good or bad. They want that attention, that feedback. We were designed to not be by ourselves in our thoughts, but to get dialogue and feedback. And so, if we were in therapy, then we would find out things about ourselves that are driving us. We would see that for some reason I'm drawn to girls that are crazy, or I'm drawn to women that are like this, or I'm drawn to women that are, or you're drawn to men that are like this. I know I can't build a relationship with him, but I gotta have him. Well, why is that? And before you get in a relationship, you want to understand you. Because how in the world can you love somebody else when you don't know how to love you? You don't know how to tell the other person how to love you because you don't know.
Right,
You got to go, and I know it sounds weird, but you don't want to go to someone you know. After trying it every which way, you don't want to go to you want somebody who does not know you, who does not is not connected to you in any way. They are completely and totally unbiased. And it's helpful if you go to someone who is willing to help you work through it without giving you advice. They're just going to listen to you and reflect back what you're saying and ask you to come up with solutions. They may offer a tidbit here and there, but you have to come to the solution yourself with their help, or it's never going to stick. It's your plan, not mine, if I tell you what to do. If I come up with it, it's my plan.
Right. Let me tell you what my problem has been when I have gone to see therapists. It starts off really well until that, that it's like the getting to know you portion. And, I'm like, hey, I do dating instead of who killed it. I have try to have therapists that are implemented within the event portion of it. And
Mm-hmm.
so by the end of the discussion, it becomes how can I be a part of the panel to be able to be a therapist? And oh, there's nothing wrong with you. So that's just how you are. Yeah, no, I know that I have some things that I need to sort through. Like, I'm not an intimate person. I don't like to do all the hugging and all of that stuff, but I know why. But I need to learn how to work through that because when I become, start dating again and he wants to hug and cuddle and all that stuff, I need to know how to feel comfortable with that. So I want to get in front of that to be able to do it. But you're telling me there's nothing wrong because I can articulate what, why, where it came from, but I need to know how to work through it so I can get to the other side. So I'm probably what I'm going to do is get a male therapist, because they're not emotional. So they'll take all the emotion out and just give me the straight. This is what you need to do.
Well, I've had both, male and female, before.
Yeah.
And they both help. If you got a good one, you got a good one, male or female. Uh,
Yeah.
the main thing is you also. I hear what you're saying, and I think you're almost there. You have to take charge of your own therapy and say, I hear what you're saying, but I need more. I need you to help me to deal with this better because it's still not better. I
Yeah.
understand it, but it's not fixed.
Yeah. And like I said, they both said, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, there is. There is. There absolutely is.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't stop with one doctor, you
Yeah,
know.
no.
You know,
And I have to keep going. Like and I know that's the thing. Like I have to. But I'm just moving. So we're just getting started with new insurance and all of that good stuff. So it's coming. All right, next question. And I'm gonna try not to hold you. And I didn't even get to any of them really. Oh, yes, I did. So we talked about therapy and the sex cycles. And
can we go back for a second because I have something that I would love to send you. I don't know if you can post it if I send it to you.
okay.
Send it to you. If you can post it, that would be really helpful. Did it pop up? No.
Did you send it to me? Did you send it in my inbox?
I'm sorry, text message. I need to
Text.
send
Okay.
my.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I can't. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to learn StreamYard so I can post it in StreamYard because I know there's a way to do it. But what I'll do is I'll post it up under here so we can see it. Okay, so I'll read it. It says the therapeutic benefits of frequent sex and orgasms. Oh, this is a lot.
Yes. First, tell where they come from.
Oh, okay. So British Medical Journal, American Journal of Cardiology, American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the National Cancer Institute. So we'll start with the cancer since that's really serious. We'll start from the bottom.
Right.
And I'm not going to read all this, but I will post this because apparently we're supposed to have sex and good orgasms. Okay, guys? All right. And
And
with each other, not by ourselves. Okay?
this whole thing is just about men.
Oh, this is just about men. Okay.
Yeah.
So, when sex exceeds 12 times per month, men are less likely to develop prostate cancer. So,
Well,
y'all
look,
need to, huh?
exceed is the key
So,
word,
you need to have sex 13 times
or
a month
more.
or more a month.
That equates to 3 to 4 times a week. every week.
Okay. We're gonna put a pause there.
Uh huh.
So another reason, and ladies, I'm gonna cover you, I'm gonna keep you covered, but I'm gonna uncover you for a little bit. So I have had a lot of women over the past few years come to me and say, Reagan, I don't know what to do because I don't like having sex with my husband. And either they're just not satisfied. So they have gone outside of the relationship to find somebody else that they're having sex with. So, how can that be fixed in a marriage when they don't enjoy? Like we got to get y'all to 13 times a month, right? But
Right.
we don't want to get to one time because we just don't enjoy it.
So my question is, in that situation, is how do you get to the point of not wanting to have sex at all, and not have had a serious discussion about, or multiple discussions about what you like and don't like, why you don't like it, and is there any underlying reasons that have nothing to do with that husband or wife why you don't like it? So, do you not like to be touched a certain way because it flashes back to something, it reminds you of something, or you just don't like to be touched like that? And why haven't we talked about it so we don't do it no more so it doesn't cause a problem? Two, why haven't we gone to a therapist, a sex therapist specifically, to learn to figure out what is it that doesn't please you or that does please you, so I as a husband can do that on an ongoing basis?
Well, I know one in particular. She was talking about his size and that she just cannot feel it. So we can't do nothing about size. That's what he
Okay.
was born with. So what are we doing?
So then we got to do a couple of things. One, we got to figure out some ways that she can still be satisfied even though his size is not what it needs to be for her. Two, maybe that's a discussion that should have happened before marriage.
I want listen. I said that because 9 times out of 10, most people are having premarital sex, right? Or
Not,
they've seen it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's 99. I'm telling you. So for some reason, you enjoyed it in the beginning. Now, if you did and suddenly it's changed, now this is where we get into the discussion that men have, where we have our own little menopause and things don't work like they used to or like they should. That's a whole nother set of discussions we gotta have.
So what I will say without uncovering my ex is, let's see how I can say this.
Whatever it is, I'm glad we're not talking about your ex.
Um,
You announced it.
I know he's dead though, but still, it's still some things I just don't
Yeah,
want to say. You can we talked about this in the group actually. You can still be with a person that you love and the sex is not that great
yeah.
just because you love that person. But on down the line, it's like my needs are not met. Like this was okay for this time, but now I need something more. But we can't get the something more because this is where we were. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with you. So here's what I'll say to that. Two things. One is, in reality, in any relationship, mother father, mother child, father child, husband wife, best friends, brothers sisters, there are going to be needs that are not met. There's, because of sin, there's there's never going to be a human relationship in which all of our needs are met. It's just a reality. And so before you get married, before you get into this, you got to figure out what is it that I can live with and what I can't live with, you know, and take care of the needs that are most important. And sometimes that changes over time as as you grow, but take care of those first, and then let's as a couple come together and figure out some healthy solutions for those things that are not met. Now, if she's getting to the point where, and understandably, most women reach their peak just after 40, between 40 and 50. And so maybe her sex drive is multiplied by 3 or 4 or 5. Just
Right.
it's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah.
Okay, but then again, that means that me as a husband, if I love her, we've got to come to an understanding and figure out. Now, I do not propose or agree with or accept having outside partners as part of the marriage thing, but we got to figure out something. So let's do some research. Let's go ask some people. Let's go talk to some therapists. Let's go, whatever we have to do. Let's go get some toys if we have to, whatever we have to do so that we can keep this relationship, if the relationship is worth keeping. If it's not, then, what are we doing
Right.
together anyway?
And that can cause also abuse with sexual frustration.
Yes, it is a form of abuse because if she's telling him she needs more somehow, and he's saying, "I got no more. What do you want to do?" Then that's saying I don't care enough about your needs for us to actually sit down and really deal with it.
Yeah.
And and that happens a lot in relationships. Not about something as serious as this, but about everyday things. You know, I'm tired of washing. I'm tired of cooking every day. Okay, let's go out. We should have had a discussion in which we talked about why you don't like cooking a lot. Do you need me to cook more? Do we need to go out? What do we need to do to figure this out? Rather than just making it ain't that hard. Let's just go out. You know, when you trivialize what the other person's saying when they're crying out to you, that's a small abuse. That's a small, you know, saying you're not important.
I don't think that, and that's one of the main reasons I started dating instead. I don't think we ask a lot of the right questions before we get married or get into the relationships. And when we do see red flags, like, then it's like, it'll change or we'll fix it or it'll be okay on down the street. And actually,
Live with
it's
it
not.
for now.
Yeah.
He'll
And
grow up.
it doesn't change. It gets worse. So a better job with communicating, but I think that also comes in with the therapy that you talk about. Once you start learning how to communicate better, knowing who you are, knowing what questions to ask, knowing what your vision is for your life or your children if you have any. That's very important. Let's see. I'm not gonna keep you on here long, and we ain't even got through all the questions. But I am gonna post this because this
I'm,
is really
I'm not in
good.
a hurry, but I got time. Let's go.
Hold on a second. And I had a class tonight. I told you I'd do a whole bunch of dreaming, and so I finally have hooked up with someone who does prophetic dream classes to kind of show me what I need to be doing because some of that stuff I don't know. Hold on.
Good.
What happened to my questions? Here you are.
So let me say this. To answer, I think you asked this earlier, but just to make sure I cover it, most men will stay through most red flags.
Wait. What? Okay, that's good. So, but I've always heard that you guys, when you date differently than us. So you're more like, because you take the emotion out of it. So let's just say me and you go out, we meet and we go out on a date. And in my mind, I have this whole scenario like, oh, we're going to be together. We're going to live happily ever after. We're going to blah, 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 blah. And men don't look at it like that. You kind of just look at it for what it is, or, just kind of trying to figure it out. So if you see these red flags and still, I thought more women did that than men.
Okay, so let's separate that out.
Okay.
A younger man don't care because I'm not trying to make her my wife. I'm not thinking about a wife. I want to date for a couple of reasons. I want to have fun. I want to be around somebody who's beautiful, and I want to have sex on a regular basis. It's really that simple. Beyond that, as you get older, 30, 35, 40, you kind of look around and say, who can I build with? But that doesn't necessarily mean I want her to be my wife for life, or even somebody I'm going to be with and have children with necessarily. I'm looking to build, whether that's build a family, build a career, build a business, build a whatever. Okay, who's going to go on this journey with me, and and help me with this, right? At my age, a bit older than that, 40, 50. Now you're saying, okay, who am I going to be able to like really be with? Be with, who thinks like I think, believes what I believe, wants to go where I want to go, wants to accomplish things I want to accomplish, and does not have all of the issues that I've seen in the 20s and the 30s and the 40-year-old women who's either never had them or dealt with them and got over them. Because I've met women 20, 30, 40 who have some of the same issues. Some of the 20-year-old issues are way worse than the 40-year-old issues.
Really?
Oh, wow. I met a girl who, um, I swear she takes about 12 pills a day. Prescribed.
Dang.
Yeah. And because she doesn't like taking it for whatever reason, it makes her feel a certain way. Sometimes without warning, she'll just stop taking it for a few days. And you see all kind of things come out. I met a girl in her 30s who she has 3 children, and she's taking care of them, but she has male tendencies. She wants to play the game. So she wants to control you and manipulate you the way men have controlled and manipulated her.
So what does that look like? So that's what, not calling, not, I mean, what does that look like?
Oh, it looks like all those things. It looks like saying exactly what you want to hear repeatedly, but then not following through. I remember we were supposed to go out somewhere, and she was supposed to come over my house because I worked late that day. So she was supposed to come over my house, meet me in my house, and I would be there, get dressed, and we'd go out. She never showed up, never called, never texted. And so, like the next day or something, I called her. I'm like, "Hey, what happened? I didn't hear from you at all." "Oh, I was out with my kids." "Yeah, but we had a plan. We had a date." "Well, you can't expect me to just throw my kids down and it ain't about throwing your kids. You spent all day with your kids. You could have took them home. And we planned this a week, 2 weeks ago. You had plenty of time to schedule to spend with your children and still. But that's not even the point. The point is, you didn't say nothing. You didn't call. You didn't text, and you were unapologetic at all. That's a mind game. I don't have time for that."
Lord have mercy. So how is dating now? How do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you want to be married again? What does that look like for you now?
Yeah, it's wild. Um,
Does it change?
no, it's in many ways it's worse because most of the women that are my age are looking for certain things out of a man, but they're not willing to give certain things. They've gone through the process and they're like, "I'm not doing this, 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 unless he shows me this." And it's like, why would he show you that if you're not showing him this? You're showing him that you're not willing to be a wife. Why would he show you that he's willing to be a husband?
So we've always heard this discussion about not showing wife things. So what is not showing wife things? The duties of a wife. What are we supposed to show you? That it's not too much, but it's just enough. Because we always heard, why would you buy the cow if you get the milk for free? So what are we supposed to show you that you'll see glimpses of wife material?
So women talk about this Proverbs 31 woman, right? But how many women actually do it? Actually are um, honest always,
Hmm.
because they have a very bad habit of excusing white lies. Well, I said it not to hurt their feelings. It's still a lie. And a man sees that and says, okay, either I'm going to deal with her, but I know I can't really trust her all the way, or, well, if you lying, then I guess I can lie too. How many women are handling their business without dealing with multiple guys at once? You don't want us to deal with multiple women, but I promise you, Regan, I know plenty of women that are dealing with 4 or 5 guys at once. And what they do is they put them off, right? And they see them when they want to see them. Okay, this week is you. I'm gonna spend time with you. And then next week, oh, I'm going out of town, but she got next dude. I met a girl who was proud of the fact that she told me I had 4 dudes for 4 years. What do you mean? I was dating 4 dudes at the same time for 4 straight years. I was able to juggle.
Okay, so quick question. If we're dating, okay, me and you, I meet you, we're dating, we're hanging out, right? When you come into the picture, I have 3 guys that I'm dating. Not sleeping with everybody.
Right.
Maybe sleeping with one because I like them a lot. But we're dating 3. So you come in the picture like, hey, let's hang out. And I'm like, okay, cool. So when am I supposed to cut everybody off? Is that when we have a conversation? Or is that when I say, we're it's I'm hanging out with you, so forget about them.
So I can tell you what I would do.
Okay.
I can tell you what I think and have seen other men do. I can't tell you all the reasoning behind their thinking, but I can tell you what I would do. Because I've had a woman before tell me, "Hey, I'm seeing other guys." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's just see because I may not want to be with you, but
Yeah.
let's just go and see if we enjoy, if we have a spark, if we enjoy each other's company, if we have similar thoughts. So, we may go out a few times. If I think that you're someone that I could build something with, I'm probably going to have a conversation with you and say, look, I'm really interested in you, but it looks like you're not sure who you want to be with. I'm down for you. If you really want to be with me, let me know. Tell me what you want to do. If you're not ready to let those other dudes go and have one person that you seriously into, tell me that. I'll move on.
Okay. So
That'll
there's
let,
just a
that'll let you
there's a
know.
conversation though.
There should be. There should always be a conversation. You
Okay.
know, not all men will do that though. Some will give you hints like, "Are you free tonight, or you got other dude? What you doing?" He don't care about the other dude. He's
And yeah,
asking you, "Where am I in the pecking order? Are you
right,
are you saving time for me, or you already got plans with somebody else? You know already."
right. And you know what? Really, I guess in the beginning of the conversation of dating, unless you asked me, I probably wouldn't even tell you I'm dating somebody else because it doesn't have anything to do with me and you. You know what I mean? So,
Newsflash, he can
huh?
tell.
Huh?
Newsflash, he can tell. You don't have to tell him anything. He'll know when you're dating somebody else.
Yeah.
It's an energy a woman puts off. The way you talk. If so, some women are really good with their conversation, right? They're better than men in how they say certain things. So you'll ask a question and she'll answer it, but she'll answer it in a roundabout way that you can tell she's avoiding certain facts. And you're like, why did she answer that way? I asked her about this and she told me about that. Oh, okay. There must be something, there must be something that she's holding back. What is that? Is that children? Is that somebody else? Is that whatever? Okay. She's always looking great. Got her stuff made up. Whenever I call her, she's on her way out with her girls or something. She's not always out with her girls. Come on. She's, come on. And she got home at 1 a.m. Come on. For real? Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
little things. You guys do a really good job of hiding, but if you're paying attention, if a guy's really paying attention, if he's really interested, he's gonna pay attention. And if he's paying attention, he'll know.
Right. Okay. All
But
right. You cleared
do
it
is
up.
don't
What?
lie. The
What'd you
worst
say?
thing to do is lie.
Well,
Because
no, we're too old to be telling lies.
man, I wish you would put that up on the sign somewhere because most of the people don't know that. To them, it's just like in politics right now. Lying is like the new norm.
That's dumb. We don't have, I mean, what are we lying about? Like, we're grown. We're not paying anybody's bills. Like, what are we doing? You
So,
know,
so I don't want to deal with reality, so I invent my reality. And the only way my reality can last is if I convince you to believe my reality that I created.
But that's going to be uncovered at some point in time.
But what do I care? I'm in Disneyland until it finally crashes. So as long as I can stay in Disneyland and not deal with the hurt of my real reality, because I don't go to therapy, then, right? Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Why do people take drugs? Some of them are addicted, but they didn't just wake up addicted. They weren't born. Most of them weren't born addicted. They had to try something for a reason to escape from something, and then they got hooked. Now they don't want to leave that world. They want to stay out of their mind.
What is the reason? This is the age-old question. Why do men cheat?
There's at least 1,000 reasons or more. There's, I mean, you have some men that can't be faithful for whatever reason. They saw their mother be promiscuous or saw their father be promiscuous. There are some men who have been seriously, deeply hurt and cannot deal with the idea of trusting a woman. When she leaves the house, she going to see some dude. So the only way he twistedly, non-healthily, can deal with the fact that she may be out there doing something is if I'm out there doing something too.
Can you be happy and cheat? Happy in your marriage and cheat, or your relationship and cheat?
Yes, because it's it's not a it's not a commentary on how good the relationship is. It's a comment. So I went through something a long time ago, part of my marriage when it broke down, and I remember I was I was really upset because I felt like my wife had cheated on me, and I felt really bad, like I'm not enough. What did I do wrong? And God said to me, "You listening?" He said, "It's not about you." And I'm like, "What do you mean, God? I'm I'm the only one married to her. I'm the only one she cheating on. I'm the only one this that. Hey, I'm separated from my children. All this stuff is happening to me. So if it's not about me, who is it about?" He said, "It's not about you." And I'm like, that doesn't answer the question. I don't understand because I'm the only one here dealing with this. He said, "It's not about you because if you were any other man, she would still do what she did. It's about her relationship with God that's broken."
What happens when you don't serve God? We were just talking about this yesterday because, when God first gave me my business, He told me everybody that you are going to come into contact with need love. So He talked to me about love because the people that He's sending me have not been loved properly. And I'm thinking, why are you sending them to me? Because I haven't been loved properly. But, He said, we're going to work through that. So,
Because you can understand where they are, and if he can help you, you can help them.
right. So listen, I'm like, okay, here's another thing, God, because I'm going to always talk about you, right? What if they're not saved? What if they don't believe in you? Because there's more people that have a form of godliness or they acknowledge him, but they're not saved or they don't live fully for him. And so my thing is God created marriage, and you can't have a successful marriage without him. Not perfect, but you can't have a successful marriage without him. So what happens when you don't have God and the core of or the center of your marriage or your relationship?
Okay, so this is where we have to have another discussion one day on just on, okay? Because
Okay.
religion is a big part of the problem. The system that's set up is flawed because people set it up, right? So God says that He's put a measure of Himself in every man. So even people who don't acknowledge God they recognize God within them at some point in time in their life, right? One of my favorite authors says this, okay, and this is for you, Reagan. He says, Christ's method always works. Christ mingled among the crowd and showed them that He sought their good. And when they trusted Him, He said, "Follow me." Notice the pattern. He gets in with the people. He didn't care whether they knew God, professed God, whatever. It didn't matter. They were people, God's people. He got in between them. He looked around, saw what he can do, get it, mingled with them, got to know them, won their trust. And then he said, come to church with me. No, he said, follow me. That's for you, Reagan.
Yeah. That
You,
blessed me. Oh, I'm trying to get myself together.
no,
That blessed
they're not
me.
following you because
That blessed me.
they're following you because you're following Christ. That's
Yeah.
the important thing.
Oh my gosh, that blessed me. That blessed me. Oh my gosh, that was good.
I didn't mean to overwhelm you. I'm sorry.
No. But that answered some things for me. It did. We gotta go now. We gotta go because I can't get myself together.
But maybe we'll have a part two because you still got like
Yeah, we do. We have to have a part two.
got to.
Goodness. Woo! Oh Lord, you were not supposed to do that, but that blessed me. That was good. That was so good. That was good. I enjoyed our conversation, and I didn't even get to half of my stuff.
No, you got. I see like 6 or 7 questions here that you didn't ask.
Okay, let's try. Let me get myself together. Jesus. Woo. Let me see here. Um, let's say, what do you wish more women understood about men?
I would say I wish women understood more about men that we have emotional needs as much as you do. We just are not going to say it. And if sometimes when a man cheats or is drawn away, it's because there's a woman that is seeing his emotional need and and speaking to it. She's ministering to it, and it draws him away because um, more than financial, material, or even just companionship needs, those emotional deep needs are things that may have never been addressed in our entire life. And we got married thinking that woman, that mate, was the person to do that for us. And for a while, she may have, but then she stopped.
What does those emotional needs look like? Like what emotions do y'all have? I had a friend of mine tell me years ago. He said, and I've never seen him cry, but he said, "Man, I cry all the time." And I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah,
But I would never, because he seemed so shut off.
right.
Like, and I'm like, "You what?" And he's married. And I was just like, I just don't. He was like, "I'm very, like, not emotional," but he said, "I cry." And I'm like, "About what?" Like, I don't see it.
Because we become so strong, or we project strength that that even to ourselves is straight laced. But there's comes a time when we're emotionally moved by something. God created us with emotions. We weren't supposed to hold them in. And even the most staunchest, strictest, strong person can volcano. It just builds up and boom. Now we're gonna try to make sure that no one's around to see it, that no one can witness it and know that about us, but it's there. And um, so on Facebook, um, we have a local celebrity who posts stuff that people send letters and questions to. And one scenario was uh, this woman was upset with her husband, hadn't talked to him in a week because they went out with like 2 other couples, and she knows from the time before they got married very clearly he don't dance. Period. Nothing. So they go out. They're out with this couple. They're out somewhere, and everybody's dancing. Everybody gets up and dances. He's sitting there. She wants to dance. Okay, get up and dance. But she doesn't. I guess out of respect for him. One of the other couple's husbands comes and asks her to dance, and she's about to get up and go, and he's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, why can't I dance? If you don't want me to dance with him, then you come dance with me. And she made such a big fuss of it that he got up and he got on the floor and he did his best to dance like a fool. Like got everybody made him and her look stupid. So by that time she's mad, she wants to leave. She ain't talking. So let's break this down. She knew he didn't want to dance. Never wants to dance. Ever. Why? Maybe there's some emotional reason behind it, but why would you push that in public in front of his friends to make him dance? Why couldn't you just go dance by yourself? She did not address. And if a man had done that, y'all would crucify him. Oh, it's not about the dance. It's you didn't read the room. You didn't read her emotions and see that she needed this. You didn't care about how she felt. Well, she didn't care about how he felt. And the only way he knew how to deal with that was to get up and make a fool of himself. He volcanoed. And was he wrong for going overboard? Heck yeah. But if my wife can't cover my emotional needs and can't cover me even when my needs don't make sense, what are we doing? Why are we married? I thought that's what we got married for, is to support and encourage. Where you're weak, I'm strong. Where I'm weak, you're strong. We cover each other.
So that emotional affair is worse than a sexual one
A lot of times it's much worse. So
because you're having somebody that you're, sharing your personal information with, or maybe you're not necessarily talking about the marriage, their marriage or relationship, but you're able to share your hopes, your dreams, past
there,
childhood things. And
for a man, he's probably telling the mistress way more than he ever tells his wife. Because she's
that's crazy.
because she's willing to, but she's willing to listen, and she's willing to be supportive, no matter how crazy he sounds and what he's saying. She's supporting him for her selfish reason of keeping the relationship, but he don't care. He's getting his needs met.
So the side chick is the bed therapist, basically.
Basically, she's taking care of his physical needs and his emotional needs. She comes when he calls. She does exactly what he wants. I mean, and
It's,
it happens the other way too. Women do the same thing, but
women do cheat. And I used to be the one to be like, yeah, no. And then I was like, yeah,
a lot, Regan.
yeah, yeah.
Talking emotionally.
We cheat for different reasons, though, I believe.
Absolutely. But it's still, you want to
Not
talk about
to say that it's
still cheating.
better, but we cheat for different reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We're going to do one more because I try not to go over an hour. We have 7 minutes. Um, let's see. What can women do better to show they love you, they care for you, or they're concerned? What can we do better for you?
Um,
Especially if you've been in a long relationship. Because, like I said, I was married for a long time too. So that time is monotonous. Like you're, trying to recreate and do things. So, how can we keep, how can we just show that we care over, a considerable amount of time?
well, so it depends on where you are in the relationship. I would think. If you're new, then I would say continue doing what you were doing. They got that person. If you've been in it a while, you got to find out where the hurts are, because I guarantee you, you can't be in a relationship with someone and not hurt them. It's a part of life. The question is, are you hurting them on purpose or recklessly, or is it by accident? If it's by accident, we can fix it. If it's recklessness, you can stop that and start paying attention. If it's on purpose, then you got some real issues that you need to deal with internally before you can do anything for me.
Do men voice when they're hurting?
No, you should be able to tell, but they're not gonna say it. They're not gonna say I'm hurting. No, but you're gonna be able to tell. Some men will be distant. They'll disappear and stay out late, or some men will throw themselves into a project where they're doing something with their hands and working on a car or whatever, just to kind of zone out. Um, Different things. Some will stay at work harder, work longer, work.
So, um, this is the last question for real. So, one of the things that my ex-husband used to say, and I will definitely take this in to my next relationship, is how will I know if you don't tell me? And that was going for, even the small things. Like, I appreciate it when you X, Y, and Z. Thank you for X, Y, and Z. Because it seems like, because again, things get so monotonous. Like, you're just expected to pay bills. You're expected to put gas in my car. You're expected to, do X, Y, and Z without me giving an appreciation. How important is that to you to hear, or to be acknowledged for even the small things?
It is important. It's more important to some men than others. Some men need to hear you say things. Some need to see you do something. So maybe your appreciation is to do something for him to show him that you appreciate him. And when he says, "Baby, why do you do that?" You say, "Hey, I know it's a little thing, but I went out this morning to start the car and I was like, dang, I don't have no gas." And I got in there and it was full. I mean, that those
So
things
you
are,
never hear about a woman going to get gas for a man. That'll be like, what?
wow. It'd be like, wow, you didn't do that. I know, but you do so much for me. I want to show you that I care about you too. Man, that will, I mean, I'm telling you. You have to, so you have to start at the beginning. If you want a man to talk, you have to start at the beginning and lay that down as something. If we're going to be in a relationship, we got to do this. And if you're having trouble doing that, let's go get some help and figure out why. Because over the years, you're going to need to communicate. I'm going to need to communicate. Things are going to get hard. And if we're not talking now, when it gets hard, we're really not going to talk.
Right. Right.
So we got to deal with this now so that we are exercising and preparing for disaster that we're going to go through it together and come through on the other side. Let's start that now. If you get to the point where you're just meeting someone who has that issue, you got to really truly evaluate if you should be in a relationship with them. Because if they can't communicate, it's not
I
going.
don't want anybody that can't communicate. Because I mean, I think I'm a pretty good one, but I need someone a little bit better than me to be able to pull some things out, because I go all the way around the bend and it's like, just tell me what you need. But I want to learn, do, and be better in, most of the relationships that I'm in. So I definitely have to have a communicator.
Now, does he feel the same way? I need to learn and grow and be better. So I realize I got this problem, but I'm willing to work through it if you'll walk with me. If he's like that, then that's a whole different thing. If he's
Yeah.
like, well, I know I got an issue, but it ain't that bad. We don't do we don't need therapy. Okay, well look, I care about you and I really want to be with you, but it's obvious that if we don't do this, this is not gonna happen. It's not gonna
Right.
so I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna walk with you a little bit, but if you're not willing to change that position, at some point we're gonna be over. I'm just telling you, it's the truth. So you need to decide if this is worth it to you.
I got one last question for real, and then
Yeah,
we're going to
fourth
go.
time already.
I know, I know. How, to me, one thing that I did not have, excuse me, in my marriage is I didn't have my own friends. Like, I found a friend later on down the street, but I didn't have any like real friends, like true friendships. I didn't have a purpose. So I was really like work, home, and church. So I believe that I fell into a depression while I was married, but didn't know until later on. How important is it that you know your purpose, know who you are, you're walking in that purpose, and you have a life outside of your relationship? How important are those things?
Well, they're critical. You can't have a healthy relationship without them. If I don't have a life before we got into a relationship, then why in the world do you want to be with me? What do I bring to the table? You know, what was my purpose beforehand? What are my life goals? What's my relationship with God? And how does that relate to having a relationship? If you're not if you don't have that before we get involved, then where are we going with this? You're just going to take over my life and be whatever I want? That's not healthy. Not for me.
Yeah, I don't want you. And that's my thing. Like, I don't think I want somebody to be totally consumed with me. Like, I believe that we need to have, like, you go on your boys' trip and I go on my girls' trip. We make time to have those, separate things.
Right. And it's not so much that I need to be away from you. It's just that it's a healthy thing to come aside, to reflect and to refresh and then come back together again.
Yeah.
I don't want someone that wants to live a totally separate life too, where they're always gone and then I only see them every so often. I don't want that either. But I don't want somebody who's always under me. Not because I don't want them near me, but because I want you. If I actually care about you, I care about your dreams. I want you to realize who you're supposed to be. And if you're not doing that, am I the reason for that? If I'm the reason, I need to get out the way.
Yeah. So that has been, and then I'm going to say this and I'm going to go, it's not another question, it's just a statement. So that has been an issue with me dating sometimes where it's like, I'm 43. So maybe older, the guy will be a little bit older. So maybe 50, 47, 50. And they're like, okay, you're moving around too much. So you're doing too much. Can you just come and sit down? Like, I want to settle. Okay.
Time out. What does moving around too much mean? What does that mean?
Because a lot of the time, I haven't recent because I just moved, but a lot of my business was in other states. So I would travel
Okay.
often. But I'm building up my clientele. I'm building up my business. So my business was not in Knoxville per se. It was other places. So I have to travel. And so it's just like you gone too much. Why you just can't sit down? Why can't you just, and I'm like, but this is a part of my business. So it would not work out because of that. And so I would see that on the onset. My thing is
Don't
hopefully,
do that.
huh?
Don't change.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me say this, okay? Any man that feels that way should not have gotten involved with you in the first place.
Yeah. I
Okay?
think they thought it would change though. Like, oh, she'll like me, so she's going to stay
And if
in
and
the
if,
house.
and if he thought that, he's wrong for you anyway.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be with someone who thinks that by getting with you, I'm going to change. I'm going to integrate my life in yours and yours in mine, but I am who I am because I found my purpose and I'm doing
Right.
it. If you can't get with that, then you're not the right one. You just
Yeah.
not. If he can't look at you and say, God has you doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm not going to get in the way of that, then he's wasting your time and he's wasting his.
That was good. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed it. And we'll have to have a part two because this is really, really good. So guys, if you have any questions, I'm still trying to get myself together like a snot and Karen O. Corey. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, cares, or concerns, make sure that you send me an inbox. If you don't want to send me one, Corey, is your inbox open? You might have some little cuties. I don't know if that's a
I hope you
in
realize
his DM.
I don't, I'm very picky and I don't play games. So my
But
inbox is open, but not for ridiculousness. Okay.
okay, y'all heard it. Y'all heard what the man said. His DM is open, but not for ridiculousness. He's about business. Okay. All right, guys, but thank you so much for joining us whenever you do. Again, if you have any questions, cares, or concerns, make sure that you inbox me or you can inbox Corey. If you want to see a part two, which we'll probably do anyway, let us know. You guys have a blessed night. This is Reagan Adams with All Things Reagan. And Reagan says, I think it, I see it, I do it. Good night.
Good night.